Hi everybody, it's Allie from Padfoot Palms. I apologize for the sound of my voice right now because I have been fighting a cold all week. But I saw something posted in one of the Pomeranian Facebook groups, and I thought that it would be an excellent topic to go over. Um, This is something that I'm very passionate about um, as a Pomeranian breeder, and I just wanted to make a quick video, go over a few things, and offer some insight. So, originally, when I was going to start out breeding, I was considering quite a few breeds as I'm an avid dog lover. So there are quite a few breeds out there that I really love. And one of them was the French Bulldog. Now, I'm sure that many of you will know that they have these horribly smushed in faces and these big bat ears, and over the years the breeding scene of French bulldogs have really just become oversaturated, which unfortunately has led to a lot of really bad breeding. Um, and in that case, the faces are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, the faces being the muzzle, and the dogs are having more and more health problems. It's very troubling. The reason why I bring that up is because this post right here, um, talking about the quote unquote correct and incorrect face of a Pomeranian. So, the two faces that you see here at the top are faces that align with the AKC standard, which is the breed standard that people use as, the building blocks of their breeding program. These standards are set by a group of people, like a council. The standards change over time, just like they have changed over time with the French Bulldog, and it now encourages people to breed for those smaller faces. So if you take a look at this dog here, you see how short that muzzle is and how tiny this skull is? Is it cute? Sure, absolutely. I mean, well, that's why they do it. That's why, as humans, we do what we do to dog breeds. We breed them to be cute. But the problem with these short noses is that we're not leaving any room for the actual anatomy of the dog. So what ends up happening is we end up with all sorts of breathing problems. We end up with skulls that do not completely close, which is called an open fontanelle, which, can cause seizures and a whole slew of problems. We end up with dogs that don't have the correct space for their anatomy for their tear ducts. So you get dogs that have problems with weeping and eye infections and things like that. So having this small head and this very short nose, while it's cute, it's not functional. It's not functional for a dog. They weren't meant to be that way. So, down here, oh, let me click on it. So down here at the bottom, they like to pick on these guys. So this dog has a longer muzzle, has a wider ear set. This ear set that's wider is much more natural, right? Dogs with these ears on top of their head would not be as functional as larger ears that are a little more wide set. The wider ear set is really just a matter of preference. My main thing that I focus on is this longer muzzle. See, long muzzle, small eyes. So while I agree that the eyes are very small, and that can be problematic for the same reasons that I mentioned above for this one, um, I do like this longer muzzle because you're leaving space for the dog's anatomy so that they can breathe properly, so that they don't have as many trachea issues. They don't have all this crowding in this little tiny mouth for all these teeth that need space. So, those are definitely some things to consider. Um, this lady also posted a picture of her dog, who is adorable, by the way. And one of the things that I wanted to point out is that we have excellent nose structure. We've got nice, larger eyes. They're not too large for the face, right? So we're not looking bug eyed. We've got a great amount of skull space. So this brain that's super active in here, because we all know Poms are really smart, has plenty of space. I would be willing to bet that this fontanelle is closed, right? Because we had enough space for the bones to come together. We've got a nice, a larger ear, which is perfectly capable of, swiveling around and functioning like an actual dog ear. I would venture to say that these teeth have plenty of space in the jawline. There's no crowding. Um, I can't tell, obviously from this picture, I can't see the teeth specifically, but I'm guessing because it's a longer muzzle that it's got more space. So while this dog may not be breed standard, I would be willing to guess that this dog is healthier than some of the dogs that are breed standard. And I think that really needs to be the focus for breeders. I think that we need to get away from, oh, your dog is not breed standard. It doesn't have this tiny smushed in face with these ears on top of its head. And, it's, while it may be aesthetically pleasing, you're doing a disservice to the dog. This Pomeranian has features that are much more functional, and the longevity of the breed needs to be about health and functionality. We need to get away from, oh, it has to adhere to this specific standard, because 100 years from now, Pomeranians are going to end up having the same problems that French bulldogs are having now, soft palate problems. The shorter you make that muzzle, the shorter this nose gets. I mean, look at pugs. Same thing. They're doing it with Boston Terriers. Like, I understand having that short little face is oh so cute. Oh my goodness, look at it. But you're not doing anything for the dog. You're not doing anything for the breed to make them dysfunctional like that. This dog in the wild would not survive. Now, granted, dogs are domesticated animals. I get it. And I'm sure I'll have somebody that'll comment and say, oh, we domesticated dogs. This dog is living the life. I get it. But there's nothing wrong with having a perfectly functional head structure. If we got away from these tiny standards, right, we would also see that there are less patella issues. The body would be longer instead of short and what they like to call cobby. There would be more room for the musculature. There is a lot to be said for these dogs that a lot of people like to call the throwback Pom, that have the longer face, the little bit wider ear set. It's just something that you need to think about. You need to think about it as a buyer. You need to think about it as a breeder. There's a lot to be said for having healthier dogs that might be a little bit larger. Not every Pom needs to be 3 pounds. Not every Pom needs to have this tiny, tiny face with these tiny ears that they can barely move because they're up on top of their head like that. So, anyway, that's just one person's opinion. It happens to be mine. So, tell me what you think in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe for more videos and let me know, what kind of Pom do you have? Do you have a Pom that looks like this with the longer nose? Or do you have a Pom that looks like one of these guys? Thank you. Have a great day.